Hi, I'm Cory Weatherton, Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach, and today we're going to walk through a 2026 Entegra Coach Accolade XT. And as we do so, I want to point out some of the new things for this model year, but then also just point out what makes an Accolade XT an Accolade XT. Now, before we start, just to let you know, this is our 32U floor plan. I point that out because I know as we're on the inside of the coach, a lot of you will fall in love with the layout, and just want to let you know it's a 32U. So as you're loving it, do a quick Google search, where can I find this closest to me? And you will be able to get your hands on this thing right away. So the Entegra Coach Accolade XT, what in the world is it? It is our Super C that we're building exclusively on the Super Duty chassis. So we have 3 floor plans currently. We have a 29T, which is built on the F550 chassis with a GVW of 19.5, or you can option up to a 22K chassis, the F600 if you'd like to, and that is specifically if you plan on utilizing it for towing heavier loads. So that 29T is about 30 feet long. We also have this 32U that's built exclusively on the F600 chassis, and then a 35L, which is built exclusively there again on the F600 chassis. So it's our Super Duty platform. We love this platform. Why is that? Because it has a 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine. With this engine, you are getting a lot of horsepower. I believe it's 330, and then your torque, I believe, is 900. Double check our specs on that, but it has a lot of capability to move a heavy load. So we love that aspect about it, but then also what we love about it is it's 4-wheel drive, folks. For those of you who are in BLM land area, or maybe you plan on vacationing out there, or potentially South Carolina, hitting the beaches. I don't know if you can do that legally in South Carolina, so double check before you go driving this on a beach. But it is for those off-road dirt 2-track sort of thing. Now, obviously, this is not a rock crawler. If you want to buy a rock crawler, go ahead and buy your own 600. Don't put a house on it, because that is the dangerous portion, and then go rock crawling. But this is a cool, more rugged coach that we build, designed to handle some of those more remote places. And so how do we accomplish that? Well, on this coach specifically, we feel like it's a great chassis that Ford provides to us. And since the inception of this product, we have always been putting suspension and ride and handling components on it. Why is that? Because our goal at Entegra Coach is to be the quietest riding, best handling coach at each price point. And so as a result, it has off-road capabilities, so we just wanted to enhance those. So first and foremost, this has the Easy Drive Premier suspension package on it. So first I'll go through the suspension components. We are putting Koni FSD shocks on this coach. FSD shocks are frequency selective dampeners. Those are exclusive to us here at Entegra Coach, and it's a great shock. It is not just a stability shock, but it's also a comfort shock. So this FSD technology, Koni states that there's 2 road occurrences or driving occurrences that you'll experience. One is potentially body roll, where you need some stability, and then the other is when you hit that big pothole and you need comfort. So this shock, the way it's valved, is able to handle both of those. So if you start to get a little bit of body roll, a little bit of hydraulic fluid will go through it, and it'll give you support. It'll give you that stiffness that you need. But then when you hit that pothole, a lot of hydraulic fluid dumps through that shock, and it gives you the comfort you need. So first of all, Koni FSD shocks. Second thing we're doing on this coach is we are replacing the front and rear Ford stabilizer bar. Ford gives us a 1-inch stabilizer bar on the front and rear. We remove both of those and we put an 1.5 inch stabilizer bar on. That increases the stability of this coach exponentially. And when I say stability, it is that left or right rocking. So if you are going in BLM land and you're on that 2-track, you know, those roads can be uneven and rough. Traditional motorhomes, you will get a lot of body roll side to side. As we've replaced both the front and rear stabilizer bar on this, we've eliminated a lot of that. Now understand, you will still experience a little bit because you have a big house on top of this chassis, as we already pointed out, but we have drastically reduced that. And then finally, our computer balanced drive shaft. As we balance this drive shaft, we take it as tight as humanly possible, but then also computerly possible. If computerly is a word, don't know that it is. But what we found as we take these drive shafts just as tight as can be, we've eliminated a lot of white background noise inside of this coach. So going down the road, you will hear less white noise, and so it's definitely a better driving experience. Now, one more thing that we are adding, we don't consider it part of our Easy Drive Premier package, but at the same time, we are adding a 2-inch radius arm suspension lift made by BDS. And so we have a 2-inch lift on the front and then 2 inches on the rear as well. They're again trying to give you more capabilities off-road, raising that ground clearance a little bit so that you're not constantly worried about what is on that road that you're driving. So we have done a lot to this suspension, and we've done it to really accentuate the greatness of this chassis. Like I said, I love this chassis. I love driving it. Why do I love driving it? I'm a taller individual, and so there's a lot of leg room in this chassis, both for the driver and passenger. So the glorious thing about this chassis compared to an E-Series chassis, which is what your traditional Class Cs are built on, an E350, E450, is this is designed really as a truck. And so with that, you are getting the comfort of the legroom, you're getting the conveniences that you would experience in any personal driving truck like an F-150, to where you have all your controls easy to access. You have your Ford Sync. You also have just a really comfortable steering wheel and seating position. And so I love driving this. I think, you know, one of the things that'll sell you on this coach is get out and drive it, and you'll experience really the beauty of the Easy Drive Premier, but then also the chassis as well. So I want to point that out first and foremost. So also, what are we doing to make this Entegra Coach Accolade XT different? If you come around to the front, we are adding an aftermarket front bumper. Now, this is made by a company called Road Armor down in Texas. We partnered with them from the beginning. We have a great relationship with them. They designed this specifically for us. With this, there is a winch cradle built into this already, so if you'd like to add a winch, you can. We don't do it because we know, quite honestly, not everybody's going to use this in locations that they need a winch. So we don't want to add that added cost if you just don't need it or want it. And so we have a winch cradle there. Also, you'll notice in the front bumper, this chassis does come standard with bumper mounted fog lights in that OE bumper, but we've replaced those with square ones to give uniformity here. And then you're also going to have floodlights down below, and then up above in the front cap, you're going to have spotlights. Now, Ford gives us above the dash different auxiliary switches. So we've utilized one auxiliary switch for our bumper light, another auxiliary switch for our cap lights, but then also in the rear, we've mounted floodlights in the rear cap. And so there again, that's on an auxiliary switch. The nice thing about that is it doesn't matter if you're going forward or you're going backward, there's going to be plenty of lighting for you to navigate those tight corners or even get into the campsite late at night. So want to point that out to you. You know, still continuing on with the hallmark of Entegra Coach, that one-piece seamless fiberglass front cap. This cab compared to the E450 chassis is squattier. If that makes sense, the E-Series chassis is taller. It's modeled after a cargo van, whereas this is modeled after a truck. And so as a result, it's a little squattier. So in order to make the front end look good and a little bit more aerodynamic, we have tapered our front cap on this unit so it doesn't look just like a big clunky thing sitting on top of a squatty chassis. So aesthetically it looks great, but then also, as I said, it does help cut through the wind better. Also on this front cap, you're going to notice the panoramic window that we put in the front. That is automotive bonded. We've been doing that since 2017, and I know a lot of you folks love that. You love it because when you go camping, you want to go to the great outdoors. You don't want to go inside a paper towel tube and just feel like it's dark all the time. So we've been doing that, and I know a lot of you love that. The great thing about that is, as I mentioned, it's automotive bonded. So in the same way Ford puts this chassis windshield in, there's about a 1/4 inch recess, 3/4 inch lip. We do the same on our front caps. And then they put a brand of sealant around it that never fully hardens as it cures, because this chassis going down the road, it does buff it, it does move. They don't want a cracked windshield, and they don't want water infiltration. The same way we know our front cap will experience a little of that as well, just simply because of the way nature is. And so we use the exact same sealant, so as it cures, it remains flexible. So I love that. It's a great feature. If you are camping in those warm places, or maybe it's starting to get nighttime, you've got kids up there, you want them to go to bed, there is a power shade to be able to close that to either keep the heat of the sun out or the light out so the kids can go to sleep. We also, on the side here, we do have matching road armor side steps. There again, there's a lot of tread in that to be able to get the mud off, or even if it's slick out, you're not gonna slip and fall on that if it's been raining or your shoes are muddy, as I already mentioned. Coming back to Coach, you'll remember that this is an Entegra Coach. So with Entegra Coach, you do get that 2-year limited warranty. Everybody else in the industry, mainstream manufacturers who are building on this chassis, but then also C's and A's in general, are just going to be a 1-year warranty. We're with you for 2 complete camping seasons. The reason I say that is because we understand that this is a large investment for you. Totally understand that. And as a result, we want you to know that we stand behind that investment. So it is a 2-year limited warranty. It's limited by 24,000 miles. It's limited by customer neglect, obviously. If you do something to this and it's your fault versus ours, we don't cover that. And then also it's limited by this being in full-time use or as a rental. So just wanted to lay that out for you. And then also a 3-year structural warranty. That structural warranty covers the sandwich of the structure. What do I mean by the sandwich? All of our walls, our roofs, and our floors are vacuum bonded. So vacuum press, if you will. We take all the materials of the wall, we put adhesive on every layer, and then we send it into a vacuum press for 144 tons of pressure for 16 to 18 minutes. Now, some companies are using pinch rolling. Pinch rolling is 2 rollers that are calibrated and they're super close together. I would liken it a lot to potentially a pasta maker. When I was a kid, my mom would make pasta, big ball of dough. She'd run it down into this calibrated roller thing, cranking it. I was the cranker, unfortunately, and it'd come out as a thin sheet. And that's what pinch rolling is. Now, vacuum bonding is more like, there again, when I was a kid, if I had an art project at school, potentially putting 2 pieces of construction paper together or putting a leaf on paper, you fill in the blank with whatever I was doing as a kid, smear paste on that or Elmer's glue, put an encyclopedia on it overnight, wake up in the morning, take that encyclopedia off, and I had a great glue bond because the weight of the encyclopedia held it together until that glue set up and cured. That's what vacuum bonding is for us. And so I can tell you, we have our own lamination facility, vacuum bonding facility that's both temperature and humidity controlled year round. So if we are laminating or vacuum bonding in the wintertime, where the temperature is super cold, or in northern Indiana, you know, it's not uncommon for it to get 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower and very low humidity, or in the summertime, where it's hot as can be and super humid, we are getting the exact same lamination process year round. Also with that, to ensure that our lamination process is always working, anywhere we cut out for a window, we'll do a delamination test, and we stick that window cutout in. It's a really small contraption. I don't know if you can call it a machine, but it actually takes apart the wall. And so our goal as the wall comes apart is to see component shredding versus a clean separation. If it's a clean separation of those components, we know that the lamination process failed for one reason or another. Could be a bad batch of glue, could be who knows what, and we'll scrap that wall. But like I said, we do that on every window cutout. And I can tell you, since we have our own lamination facility, the lamination process, we've got it down to a science. It works very well for us. I've been here at Entegra Coach for 9 years, and I know we've done it that whole duration, and we've done it before. When did we start? I don't know when we started, but I can tell you that we've got it down. So works perfectly for us. Pointing out the windows still, I love these windows that we started installing. I think it was the beginning of model year 25, time flies, could have been 24. But what I love about these windows is that on the inside, they look very residential. Outside, I think they look good, but on the inside, they look very residential. But from the outside, I don't know if you can see it or not, but what I love is that on the back of those nightshades, that there's kind of an aluminum foil type material that is going to reflect the sun's heat and also the UV rays. And so it definitely keeps the inside of your coach cooler throughout the day on those warm days. And then Also, on those cold days, it provides another layer of insulation there. So I love these windows for that reason. When we get on the inside, you can see the residential aspect of it. But as I mentioned, we started using these a year ago, if not 2 years ago, and they've worked perfectly for us. Also, what I like about these windows is rather than the normal frameless windows that you crank out and maybe get about 3 inches of opening, these actually have a rod that push out, and so this is an approximation, don't hold me to this, you get about 8 to 9 inches of window opening, so a lot more ventilation comes in through these windows. And so I think you'll love that aspect about it. They do have night shades, as I mentioned, but then also day shades that function as a bug screen. You'll notice overhead we do have a full-length awning. That is a legless awning, and it also has a wind sensor, motion sensor in it. Now the key thing with that is I always tell folks, let's use common sense as we're using this coach. If you're going out kayaking for the day or backpacking for the day, the wise thing to do is just put the awning in. The reason I say the wise thing to do is because if a storm comes through and you get just massive gusts of wind there initially right after another, that will not retract in time for there potentially to be awning damage. So use wisdom in that. It's kind of, it's great, but at the same time, it doesn't replace common sense on that. As we're moving back the coach, I do want to point out, new for this model year, we do have a brand new paint scheme. The design, we have a singular design, but we have 4 different paint color combinations with that. So I think you'll love that. It is new, it is fresh for this model year. Also want to point out our storage compartments. Inside of our storage compartments, you will notice that there is storage up and down the coach. So intentionally we put in here the cab floor mats, but then also we have our child safety net in here just to demonstrate that it can go up and down the coach. And then also this storage compartment is built the exact same way our diesel pushers are. And so it is not rotocast, it is not metal. It is wood with a Darko material underneath, and then we line that with this rubber diamond tread material. So it is very durable. It prevents things from sliding up and down the coach, but then also you'll notice we do have pass-throughs across the frame rail. Now each floor plan is different in the amount of storage you get and then also the number of pass-throughs. So I wanted to point that out. Also you'll notice that we do have we call this Accolade style doors. You know, our Accolade is what we first came out with on that S2RV Freightliner chassis, but they are side hinged aluminum doors framed out nicely. Kind of a diesel pusher look, if you will, and it does give us that clean look, but then also just the solidness of these doors compared to a traditional cut-in door that you do have to slam open and close like some of our competitors will use. Now, coming back the coach, we do have a 30,000 BTU furnace on this side of the coach. With that, I'll tell you that we put them where we can. And so I know for some of you, your preference isn't campside. Not every floor plan has them campside. We're trying to maximize the amount of storage inside of the coach and then also the layout of the coach, as well as storage exterior of the coach. And on a rare occasion, it will be campside. I just point that out because, like I said, I know I've been at shows interacting with some of you and it's like, why do you put that there? That's the answer. We're maximizing as much as we can. It is on campsite. Is it the ideal? It's not the ideal, but at the same time, you're getting more on the inside and outside because we put it here. Just use common sense. Obviously, if that furnace has been going for a while, you don't want to just lean up against this shiny metal piece, or you're going to get a new tattoo. You don't want that. Coming back to coach, you'll notice that we do have an outside exterior entertainment center, 40-inch television with premium JBL audio experience out here. My family uses these periodically because here at Entegra Coach we have a demo fleet, and once in a while we put a Accolade XT in it. And I love this not because my family is just glued to the TV, but on those special occasions that potentially it's Memorial Day weekend, you want to watch the Indianapolis 500 or fill in the blank with whatever weekend where a special event's on, you're able to do that. But then also the cool thing is that, you know, this is designed for that kind of remote place, remote location. maybe you're out west in sand dunes and you're on your side-by-side just enjoying this thing. Cool thing about this is you can come back at the end of the day, you can have your fire going, you can have your camp chair set out, and you can just go through the memories of the day. That's what this TV, to me, more so is beneficial for. Now, if you love TV, great for you, but this is just reviewing the memories that exist from those trips, and that's why folks buy these things. Coming back to Coach, we do have, in this compartment, you will notice our onboard propane tank. On our website, we have all the specs of what these are. And then coming back, we've got another storage compartment. There again, a very large one. And then we have a small rotocast one that if you do want to put your wet components back in here, potentially the muddy boots that you didn't get sprayed off, or even soggy wet swimsuits, fill in the blank with what you want to put in that one. Easier to clean out than what these are, but then at the same time, these are all sealed with that rubber diamond tread material, and so they are fairly easy to clean as well. Coming around the back of the Coach, you will notice that we have a full rear cap. As I mentioned on the front, we do have our rear floodlights for backing up or just seeing behind you. And then overhead, we have our rear camera and then also our ladder mount. So the key thing with that is we moved away from a traditional fixed ladder a year and a half ago, and we started utilizing these collapsible ones. And we love that because it cleans up the rear of the Coach, and then also those collapsible ladders, in my opinion, are a lot easier to climb because you can set them up at an angle versus just a vertical climb that's somewhat difficult at times. We do have a rear hitch receiver. Rear hitch receiver, we rate at 12,000 pounds. We rate it at 12,000 pounds because as we mount these, we keep a 10% ratio between the GVW of what you're towing and the tongue weight rating. So if you are pulling your side-by-sides, if you are pulling a cargo trailer or horse trailer that has a GVW of 10,000 pounds, your tongue weight rating will be 1,000 pounds. So understand that whatever you're towing, 10% of that, unless you're flat towing, will be pressed down on this hitch. And so understand that that does cut into your cargo carrying capacity as well. Now, you could technically tow 15,000 pounds, changing the hitch out, but we don't rate them at 15,000 pounds because that cuts into your cargo carrying capacity, and as a result, you don't get to take as much on the inside. Whether that's water, whether that's humans, could be your rock collection, could be anything, it does cut into that. So we put a 12,000 pound hitch receiver on with a 1,200 pound tongue capacity. So the rear of the Coach, we have not talked about what's on the roof of the Coach yet. The roof is a full one-piece fiberglass roof. I know some of our competitors who are building on this chassis are putting on a TPO roof. We put fiberglass on, a lot more durable, less cleaning going on, and really at this price point, you should be getting a fiberglass roof. Also on the roof, you have a in-motion satellite. That comes standard. You have a king jack antenna for your local channels. Now I should state that in motion, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. It does require a subscription. King jack antenna for your local channels, that's free. We also have Starlink as standard on this Coach. So Starlink, if you've not used it, rather than cell-based internet, it is satellite-based internet. And I can tell you, I've used the Starlink system on this Coach. As I said, Demo Fleet, our VP of Engineering, has used it. We have had great success with Starlink. So if you are going to those remote places where you're not anticipating having cell coverage, Starlink is a great feature for you, and it comes standard on this Coach. Also on this Coach, you have a 15,000 BTU air conditioner up front with a heat pump, and then in the rear you have a 13.5 no heat pump. On the roof we have 200 watts of solar. It does come with a dual controller, so it is charging your house batteries and then also your chassis batteries. There's a couple of skylights on the roof, and I think I've fully covered the roof. Now the key thing with the roof is we would advise you here from the factory, cheapest, best maintenance, most preventative is to get up on that roof a few times a year, check out the seals where we cut into the roof and put components. It's, like I said, it's the cheapest form of insurance you could have, because as soon as water gets into any Coach, it ruins that investment. That's why we do that one-piece fiberglass front cap. You know, that's why we use the brand of sealant we do on that front window. That's why we use frameless windows. And at the same time, always check your seals. It's a great thing to do, and just make sure that they're not peeling up or cracking. So this has been a look at the back of the coach. Let's quickly look at the driver's side of the coach. Alrighty, new for this model year, we do have a on-demand hot water heater. That's a 60,000 BTU hot water heater. We did change away. This unit did have a 10-gallon gas electric. 10-gallon gas electric was beautiful. We loved it. It worked well. A lot of you had started to request, hey, can we do an on-demand water heater? So we did change for model year 2026 to do a 60,000 BTU on-demand hot water heater. Just on this side of the coach, I want to quickly just look at the storage compartment so you can see how much is on this floor plan. Like I said, every floor plan differs, so make sure you check out the floor plan that you're interested in, because as I always say, your floor plan is married to your storage. The two go hand in hand. You have to love your floor plan and you have to love your storage. So make sure whatever floor plan you're looking at, that you just don't think, well, I saw the 29T, so everything's got to have a massive pass-through in the rear. It doesn't. Every floor plan is unique. So in this storage compartment, you will see that we have our ladder stored in here. We do have a power cord reel on this floor plan. And then also these are our Starlink components. You'll notice that access panel back there. Now, when we install generators, it's a subjective thing. And we do a lot of polls and surveys with current owners and potential owners as far as, do you prefer super ease of access to your generator? Do you want more storage? How do you want it? We know that this thing is going to those remote places, and so you're gonna have to take with you probably more things than what you normally would. So as a result, where we can, we will put the generator between the frame rails. Now the key thing in order to free up a storage bay, the key thing with that is that access panel that I showed you. You're able to access your manual generator start. Below the bed on this floor plan, you're able to reach everything you need to in order to maintain that generator as well. So your oil filter, adding oil, checking your dipstick, etc., etc. Everything is easily accessible, even though it's between the frame rails. So I point out that's the access panel for your side panel of your Onan 6,000 watt generator, and then on top through the bed base is how you're able to get to your dipstick and then also add the oil. Coming back, we do have our wet bay here. You will notice that it's pretty simple. We do have a light on this. Everything's very clearly labeled. Also, if I owned this coach, from the factory we put all these stickers on so that, you know, where do I find this, where do I find that? You can peel those off once you become familiar with this coach. So just want to point that out. We do have a lot of stickers on our off campsite, but that's for the ease of convenience with the initial getting to know the coach. As we come back, we've got dual tanks here. I believe we're at 76, it's 74 or 76 gallons on fuel, and the front is 40, the rear is 24 or 26. That's on our website as well. As we come down, we do have another storage compartment here. We do have our solar controller mounted to the sidewall. Coming back, we've got a valve for our gray holding tank. And then as we come one more, we find our hydraulic leveling pump as well as our low point drains. And then we will come into the last final compartment. And here we have our house batteries on a slide out tray. So wanted to point out this side because I know a common question is, what's on the off-camp side? Wanted to show that to you quickly. Let's go inside this Accolade XT and check it out. Alrighty, so we are inside the 32U Entegra Coach Accolade XT, and we've made some changes for this year, but at the same time, you'll notice some things that are similar. What I love about this coach, as I already mentioned on the outside, is just the drivability of the chassis. Now, from this point forward, a lot of things are stock Ford. The seats are stock Ford. We have recovered them. You'll also notice the Ford Sync infotainment system. Now, above that Ford Sync infotainment system, there is a monitor that we have added. So in place of the rear view mirror, you are able to see your turn signals, your cameras on those sides, and then also your rear backup camera. So we have added those. In between driver passenger seat, we have added a center console. Ford does not provide that for us, so we have added one. I want to be fully transparent with you. If there is a negative on this coach, if there is, which there again, that's all subjective depending on how you're going to use it, it's a little more difficult to pass from your driver's seat, passenger seat to the living area of the coach. As I mentioned on the outside, that E-Series chassis that traditional Class Cs are built on, it has taller headroom. And so because it's designed after a cargo van. Now this is designed as a truck chassis. So as a result, you have a little less headroom. Because of that, we have made this cutout a little bit larger so that you can pop your head up quicker and easier. And so, like I mentioned, that's a little bit of a drawback for some of you, and I totally understand it, but at the same time, we have made it accessible as possible. It's a great chassis overall. Behind me, as I mentioned, we do have our automotive bonded windshield in the front cap. It is powered. There's a switch over here that I can run it up, I can run it down. It's super convenient. And the overhead bunk rated at 750 pounds. With Entegra Coach, you will know that everything we're building has a front overhead bunk of 750 pounds. There is a caveat to that. This last year we added the Vision SE, which is our entry-level gas Class A. That has a manual bunk, so that's not 750 pounds, but all of our other Class A's and all of our Class C's, 750 pounds. A lot of times I get asked the question, why does Entegra do a 2-year warranty when everybody else is a 1-year? And you know, I always say, because we value your investment. That's a true statement. I believe that our engineers do an incredible job with these coaches. The industry average on front overhead bunks is approximately 450 pounds. We're 750. Will 750 ever be up here? There's probably enough room for 3 adults, but 3 adults don't need to be up here, folks. We've got a lot of sleeping areas all throughout the coach, but we do tend to over-engineer things. For instance, on our slides that are weight-bearing, load-bearing, we are using power gear slide systems. So this 32U, definitely check out the slide system on it. We will use Schwintek, and we utilize those on our bedroom slides. We feel like Schwintek is a very good slide system as long as it's installed properly and as long as the motor isn't overloaded and maxed out to its capacity. So on our Accolade XTs, we will only use Schwintek slide systems in our bedroom. Everywhere else we're using power gear. So we've had great success with that combination, and there's no reason to change it up. So like I said, overhead bunk, 750 pounds. There's a lot of storage areas up here. We've got cup holders on both sides. And then also you'll notice that we have a 120 volt outlet as well as dual USB. So we've provided plenty of power up there for the kids, for the adults to be able to charge things. Also, what I did not state is on that front overhead bunk, we do have a child safety net. We call it a child safety net. It's more so whatever you put up there, humans or even fishing poles, it keeps whatever's up there. So we've started installing those a number of years ago at your request, and we have. And you don't have to use them, but at the same time, they're a nice little added safety feature if you do have folks sleeping up there. Now we're back in the main living area of the coach. New for this model year, we have changed our wallboard. Wallboard last year, what do I mean by wallboard? Fair question for some of you who don't have a clue what wallboard is. This surface here. Last year we did have more of a tannish brown. I'm a guy, so that's what I use, tannish brown. If you know the exact color, good for you. Tannish brown. This year we went to more of an off-white. So there's a light gray cross-hatching in it there again to help it hide stains, hide dirt a little bit better, but it makes it feel a little bit more residential. And speaking of residential, if we look at this window, as I mentioned on the outside, what I love about these windows is the fact that we've gotten rid of the overhead valance. Why do RVs have overhead valances? Because they're either using a wall-mounted pleated shade or they're using a wall-mounted roller shade. So you have to hide those somehow. We got rid of those. These windows do have integrated night shades, as I mentioned, with aluminum foil or something shiny on the backside. And then you have your day shade, which functions as a bug screen, but then also keeps some of the light out if you'd like to keep it out. As I mentioned outside, these are not the crank out, rather these have a push rod. And I said on the outside 8 inches, and as I eye this, I'm probably pretty close to 8 inches. So I wanted to point that out to you. What I love about the interior is, I already mentioned, it feels residential. So our overhead cabinets, we've reduced the visible stiles, so it feels feels less RV-ish. And then also on this cabinet, you have a full pass-through up and down the cabinet. So you are able to put larger objects in there. And then also just beautiful, we call this cabinetry Huntington, beautiful Huntington interior decor. And then the material, the fabric material that we're utilizing on our dinette and then also our theater seats. We do have a second decor option as far as fabrics go. So it is a darker one. I know some of you love this look. Maybe you have it at home so you want to replicate it, but we do have interior, two different interior fabric choices. These theater seats, they are powered. Key thing is they're 120 volts. So they do have to run off of your inverter. And so at the end of the day, after you're out hiking, doing whatever, just very convenient to relax on these. So a lot of times, if a salesman at a dealership's lot is trying to demo these, he may not realize that you need to have the inverter on. So that's the key thing there. Also within the power controls, you can see that there are two different types of USB controls, or excuse me, power ports on both sides. You have your cup holders, then you have a nice storage area that is really deep, and you can put a lot of stuff in there, whatever stuff you want to put in. Moving over here to the dinette side, a few things I want to point out. We do have a television, 50-inch smart TV. All of the TVs in this coach are smart TVs. Great thing about that is you can stream, as it states on there, any of the streaming, TV streaming or movie streaming apps that you would like to. You can run that off of either your Starlink, or potentially, if you'd rather go with the satellite aspect, that InMotion satellite. It's on its elevator, can go down, be out of the way when you're not using it, up when you want to use it right across from your theater seats. As I mentioned on the outside, the premium JBL audio experience. In everything we're building internally on these Accolade XTs, this is a JBL Aura brand and model. This happens to be a sound bar because of the location. Some of our floor plans, we do a JBL Aura Cube, which is probably this big of a square deal, and it functions the exact same way. TV goes through it. I can Bluetooth to it to stream my favorite streaming audio, music app, or podcasts or whatever. And I can utilize either just these interior speakers, I can utilize interior and exterior, or just exterior. So a lot of versatility with that JBL. I love that. It's been very reliable for us. And so that is a nice feature for you as the end user. The dinette, what's special about the dinette? It is a Entegra Coach legless dinette. This is exclusive to us. What I love about this is it's not the other brand that you have to, a lever here that you have to switch and then push down, which is, there's a knee knocker crossbar on that. There's no knee knockers on this. I can slide over without banging my knees and comfortably sit in there and just enjoy my afternoon. So this does go down into a bed as well. So this is a sleeping area. I believe this is a 60-inch dinette, and so you know, you could potentially get two preschool children on this, or potentially one elementary school age child on this. I should have mentioned that these theater seats are optioned. This is not standard. We do option theater seats in our 35L and then also this 32U. The 29T does not. It's a unique floor plan, so we don't option theater seats in that. Moving back further, solid surface countertop with a nice countertop extension, 120 volt outlet over here. You will see wireless charging over on this side, which is actually a tower as well. So you have 120 volt outlets there. We have nice under cabinet lighting. And the key thing to note is late in model year 25, we did change interior lights, still LED, they were LED before. But we switched to these 4 Kelvin lights. So with that, we are getting a brighter light in here and a whiter light. I emphasize whiter because it could some whiter? No, whiter light. Key thing about that is if it's too bright for you, the glorious thing is back here on this Firefly control, I am able on my light screen to identify my living area, you know, any of these areas that are identified on here. If there's an up-down arrow, these lights are dimmable. So maybe this is too bright for you. You can dim a certain area that you're in. You know, at the end of the day, I don't want all of this white light in here. I can dim it down, and it can just really set the mood and be more relaxing. Over here we have an induction cooktop. The induction cooktop I love. I would say that I much prefer this over propane from the standpoint of this can be on and little Junior can put his hand on it and he will not burn himself. These induction cooktops are activated by special pans. At that point, they emit heat. And the key thing to note on this is that they will boil water, which boil water, that's kind of the big test on how quickly things heat up, much more quickly than what a propane cooktop will. So we've intentionally put this induction cooktop in here because sometimes if in this more off-roadish type deal, you want to get out really quick. You can warm up your morning water for your tea, for your pour over coffee, whatever you do, your instant oatmeal maybe, or maybe it's your ramen at night, really quickly and get out and enjoy the coach. Overhead, we have a residential size convection microwave. What I love about convection microwaves is they evenly heat. Compared to the traditional RV oven, there is a lot more room in this cubic volume than what a oven would have. And so we put these in intentionally. You can warm up casseroles in this. The glorious thing about this deal is if you are into making sourdough bread, you can rise your sourdough bread on the counter. You can put your Dutch oven in there after you've heated it up, and you can make your sourdough bread in that, or even your just traditional, your white yeast bread if you'd like to. Any bread makes bread. You can put small turkeys in there, and it will make it just like an oven does. If you're unfamiliar with a convection microwave oven, go to YouTube. There's a lot of tutorials on how to use these, and it's also great because when I'm using this, I'm not emitting heat into the living area, whereas if I am using my RV oven that runs off of propane, it's kind of like a furnace in the summertime. You don't want to go that route. Also note as well that in our kitchen base, we do have pull-out drawers. Over on this side, we do have a nice little area for spice rack. New for 2025 though, if we come over to this side of the coach, any of our pantries in the Accolade XTs where we had pull-out pantry, or even just fixed shelves, we have changed them to pull-out drawers. So overhead, we've got two pull-out drawers that plenty of room for your cereal boxes, your pasta boxes, and then down below we've spaced them a little closer so that you can put your can of beans in there. This one's going to be your can of SpaghettiOs if you'd like. So we've got all these different pull-out drawers, and that's new for 26, knowing that these really are a lot more usable. You'll notice a residential refrigerator. The residential refrigerator is standard in the 35L and 32U. When you go to the 29T, standard in that is a 10 cubic foot, 12 volt refrigerator. So I wanted to point that out, that not all of our floor plans get this large residential. The 29T can only have that 10 cubic foot. Coming back a little further, I already pointed out the Firefly system. This is a great system. It's whole house control. I can be out at the campfire and I can be controlling what's inside of here while enjoying company out there. So starts to get dark or potentially in the morning starts to get hot. I can turn on my AC in the morning. If it's night and it's starting to get dark and I want to turn on some interior lighting, I can control what light I turn on from my phone and then also dim from my phone. So maybe you don't want it this bright. As you're sitting out at the campfire, you can dim from your phone, and it is a great feature. We've partnered with Firefly for a long time, at least 9 years. I believe it's going on potentially 13, 14 years now. So great partnership with them. Close off area, we do have a dual sliding door here. These are wood, and so you get a nice close off into your bedroom. So if the party's happening out here, folks can comfortably sleep back here. We do have a bank of dresser drawers down below, and then up above, this upper area functions as two purposes. One, we do put a clothes rod up above, and then also we do put movable shelving in that as well. So that is going to be optioned how you want to use it. So you've got a lot of storage potential in this area. As we come back into the bedroom, you'll notice a full bank of overhead cabinets. Folks, look how large those cabinets are. If you are looking for a place to store blankets, you could probably put 18 comforters up there. You're gonna have to squish 18 because I know how big comforters are, but you can put a lot of things up here. You'll notice that we do have windows on all three sides of the slide room, and then also your day-night shades as well. Both of your nightstands have wireless charging as well as a USB port that you can plug into. So if you're not concerned about sleeping with your phone beside you, you can go ahead and charge there. If you are, like I mentioned, we've got 12-volt USB ports all throughout the coach, but then also your 120-volt outlets as well. Coming back into what's behind me, you'll notice that on this side we have 2 drawers down below. Also, we have our ladder storage for our front overhead bunk, closet rod, and then a nice shoe shelf, or also whatever you want to put up there. It could be folded flannel shirts if you fold your flannel shirts. Coming over to the opposite side, I want to show you what's over here. Over here we do have more of a full length clothing, clothes rod, and then still your overhead shelf for your folded flannels. We've said that's what's going to be happening. And then down below, plenty of room for your shoes as well. The foot of the bed, in this coach, you will see a 32-inch smart TV. We have a coax cable there, so if you are utilizing your in-motion satellite, you can control it from here. If you're plugged into RV park cable, you can see it from here as well. But then also it's a smart TV, so utilizing that Starlink, you're going to be able to stream directly to this, or your King Jack local antenna, you can see that. If we go into the bathroom, I want to show you that real quick. It's really an amply sized bathroom for a coach that's this long. This is not a long coach, it's not a big coach, but you will notice that we do have the porcelain toilet in there. New for this year, we have added a shower miser. So the shower miser you're going to see in the shower area. What in the world is a shower miser? Fair question. Knowing that this is going to be used in more that off-road scenario, more remote scenario, we've added a shower miser. So a shower miser is a freshwater conserver. And what that means is I can utilize the shower miser. I turn on my shower like I'd normally turn on my shower. I turn the shower miser valve, and it creates a closed circulation loop. So it keeps looping until there's a blue disc in there. The blue disc will turn opaque white when my PEX lines have been flushed of cold water. And so when it turns opaque white, my PEX lines, my hot line specifically, is full of hot water. I turn my shower miser valve the opposite direction. And at that point, as soon as I turn on that shower, I get instant hot water. It's just a way for you to conserve your water, your fresh water, as you're out and about in those remote places. So we've added that. We've also added that shower stack that's in there. It's beautiful. Before we just had a shower head. Now it can be a full body deal if you want it to. Just be cautious. We put the shower miser in. I would say be wise in how much you're using that full body shower. The overhead shower does a great job. If you are plugged into a full hookup, at that point you have unlimited water, unlimited gray tank, because it is going directly into the campground's reservoir. Just make sure that you use it in those times. So what I love also is we've adjusted the quantity of shelves in our medicine cabinets. We have 3 shelves currently. Also in this bathroom, we've added a nice size window. A lot of times manufacturers are gonna omit adding a window in the bathroom. Our bathrooms are really the lightest in the industry, with the overhead skylight above the shower, with the window in there. You can go in early morning and you can conserve your power by not turning on your lights and be able to see to comb your hair, brush your teeth, etc. So this has been honestly a complete walk around of this 32U Entegra Coach Accolade XT. My name is Cory Weatherton, Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach. If you have any questions, contact your local dealer. If you don't know who your local dealer is, go to our website, integracoach.com. You'll put in your zip code or your state or province, and it'll direct you to the closest stocking Accolade XT dealer. Get onto the dealer's lot, put your hands on this, walk through it, see if this is the floor plan for you. If not, as I mentioned, we've got 2 others currently, and just explore. Is the XT great for me? Like I said, drive this thing. When you drive it, I think you're going to fall in love with it compared to our competition. And then finally, if you have questions that potentially you stumped the dealer on, or maybe the local dealer just is too far away for you to go visit, call us on our 1-800 number. Call us and let us know what state or province you're from. Let us know what product you're interested in, specifically, since you're watching this video, the Accolade XT, and we will direct you to a regional sales manager who's responsible for the area of the world you live in. That's the key thing. A regional sales manager will do that. They have direct access to our engineers, to our production team. They'll be able to answer any question you have. And if by chance you stump them, I guarantee you they will say, I don't know that answer. Let me make a couple phone calls and I'll get back with you. So again, Cory Weatherton, Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach. Thanks for watching the video, and get down to your dealership and get your hands on this coach.